We still have a minute. I'm going to start getting ready here.
My cats.
Okay. They are welcome. Let it be here. Okay, I'm going live.
Okay.
And I'm going to go ahead and go to the page. I want to say hello as you join. Beautiful. Let's do the magic of going public. Then send to my group.
Woo. Come join us, crew.
Okay, and now let's copy to the page. Beautiful. Magnifique. Hello and welcome. Beautiful souls. I am Carol Soto, and I am the co-owner of Love, Healing, and More. And my mission, I empower empath so they can live a healthier and a happier life and empower empath. I have here today my beautiful friend Amber, and not shocking, she's an empath like I am. So, before we start this discussion, I would like to ask a few questions to the audience. So, have you had a stranger come into you and start telling you their life story?
Yes.
If the answer is yes, this is for you. Do you walk into a room and out of the blue, you're now, with no reason, feeling stress or a different emotion that you didn't feel when you were outside of the room? If the answer is yes, this is for you. Because you may be an empath, and there's other examples we can share about being an empath. But I'm going to define what an empath is, and then Amber and I, we're going to have conversation about it. So an empath is a highly sensitive person who tend to be hypersensitive to the feelings of others. This is not that you feel empathy. Empathy and being an empath is completely different. And here's what the difference relies. You are capable, consciously or subconsciously, on picking up, meaning taking, absorbing the feeling of other as your own. So that's the definition about being an empath. And it has nothing to do to feel empathy. It is meaning more you feel and you embody the emotions of others, the energy of others.
Yes, that's very, very true. And I still have to learn sometimes not to absorb my husband's. I'm like, don't give it to me. I will hold space for you, but don't give it to me.
Well, it is more difficult when you're closer to the people, right? Because the same thing happens to me with my husband and my child. Now, there's two things to navigate with that. Number one is recognizing if it's yours or not. And number two, it does not matter that it's your child. It does not matter that it's your husband. You need to send back to sender with love.
Yep.
And why you send back to sender with love? Well, because it's energy that is not yours and you cannot clear it, you cannot heal it. It can be transformed by Gaia, Mother Earth of God, the universe, source, however you identify it. But sometimes it needs to go back to the person because they need to learn to deal with it or learn from it or grow from it because of their own energy.
Uh-huh.
So, share with us your life. Like, when did you find out you were an empath?
And not confirmed until I was an adult, but as a kid, looking back now, I've been that way, I think my whole life, from a very young age, because I had to be the rock for my family. Um, so I often took on things I shouldn't have. So that taught me to do that at a very young age, and being a people pleaser and just wanting to help people kind of helped me realize how to separate myself, how to hold space and empathy without absorbing those energies. And sometimes when I still do end up absorbing those energies, now I have tools to help me get them back where they belong.
Beautiful. Yes. So I think with the term, I was like seeing it on and off my life, but I didn't fully understood what empath meant until 4 years ago. And that's when I started, okay, what does this mean? And then they had the same questions that I asked, and like, yes, yes. Like growing up, that you were told that you were too sensitive. Yes.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yeah.
So, and there is quiz out there that it can help you identify if you're an empath or not. And they're fun to do too.
Yeah, and it's nice to explore it, because in exploring it, then you really figure out where your footing and your grounding are. And it's been really helpful for me personally, because I've had a lot of very heavy energy around me, like the last, I would say solidly 7 years. I had some really negative energy, and I didn't know. I was just absorbing, 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 and taking, and it affected me, my self talk, my inner voice, my confidence. Like, other people's negativity and their projections become yours. And it's been really helpful working with you, helping to like unravel all of that and come back to like Amber, you know?
Beautiful. Yes. I like how you said to like get curious about it, right? Because how I got curious, I made it a game. Like I was coming to a room, right? And if I
Mhm.
felt any energy, I would be okay, who is the one with the headache? Or who is the one with the pain in the belly, right? So I
Yeah.
started like learning and exploring and making as a fun thing versus making it more about like your headache, oh your stuff, like no. It was more like,
Eh,
where's the one with the headache? Okay,
right.
do you need something for the headache? Maybe drink more water.
Can I offer a piece of advice?
Yes, yes, yes. Because like everybody translate being an empath as the curse. And it's not a curse. Like it can be painful if you navigate life without the tools and the techniques,
It can
right?
be
But
exhausting.
oh yeah,
Yeah.
if you don't have the proper knowledge, if you don't have the proper tools, if you don't have the proper techniques, life can become super fatigue. It can be super overwhelmed. You can suffer from migraines every single day. You can even feel frustrated because you're in so much pain that it's like, I don't want to be in this life, right?
Mhm.
But we both have been there, but now we are in a completely different location because we are utilizing our tools, we are utilizing our techniques, we are discerning what is ours and what is not ours. And then life can be so much happier. Life can be more enjoyable. I'm not saying that you're always going to be happy. You're going to have some downs, but why are you having the downs, right? And
And
then digging into it.
that's what's really powerful, because once you release all of the other energies and it's still there, then you can bring attention to the healing, and you can focus and be like, okay, well, this maybe it's not necessarily mine. Is it past life? Is it childhood trauma? Is it something that I took on from somebody else that I love, like sibling, husband, child? Am I carrying something? And that's when, if I can't figure it out, I come to you and I'm like, what's going on? Something's going on, but I can't put my finger on it yet. And then sometimes when I haven't been able, like this full moon, I wasn't really able to put my finger on this strange feeling I was having. It was very calm, but also very like fearful. I'm gonna say is the word. Anxious. So I had to be like, clarity will come. Clarity will come. I will be in my bubble. And usually it does. Usually it appears, you know, piece by piece. And that's what's really interesting about being an empath is it helps bring attention to just the process that you personally need, because you are sensitive and you are somebody who cares and you are somebody who wants to help, but it is not necessarily your job to fix. And then for me, when I recognize a person as a reflection of me, whether it's a pattern within me or an opportunity for growth. And then if the energy doesn't, if like I'm going to use my mother-in-law for example, our energies don't really mesh. We don't like each other. We don't understand each other. Working on a lot of forgiveness there. But just when I was not aware of being an empath and absorbing that energy and absorbing that negativity while also still trying to please, help, and heal her, it's just not healthy for a sensitive body. Like, it's just not.
100% with you. I remember suffering a lot from migraines and like coming home super exhausted and super tired and like taking medicine and just going to bed. And until I decide this is not what I want for life. I do not want to come at 5 p.m., 5:30 p.m. and just go straight to bed. This is not life because then my life becomes just to be at work. This is not what I want.
Mm-hmm.
But there, I would like to mention a few things that you have mentioned. As an empath, we have positive and negative trails, right? So you talk about people pleasing. And people pleasing is one of the biggest ones that we have. People pleasing comes from a trauma perspective, and people pleasing often there's a root cause for it, right? You want to feel loved by others. So by doing what they're asking, you are feeling that they can love you, right?
But that is still, then that's what's so beautiful about the work, because that's still outward. It's still outward validation. And that's what I've been working on lately is like, even if somebody's invalidating me to the ground and maybe their point of view is correct, it doesn't invalidate mine, you know? And staying in your space is so important, and learning to protect that is important.
Yes. So if you're dealing with people pleasing, I will advise you to dig into the root cause of it. Because it's not a good trail to have. This does not mean that you're not available to help others. Yes, you can help others, but with boundaries, with coming from a place of love and not a place from trauma.
Mm-hmm.
Another trail is the giving, 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 and not allowing yourself to receive, right? And you give until your cup is super duper empty. So,
Big red signs.
an empowered empath give from an overflowing cup.
Yes, I always give out, I can replenish, and it returns to me. And it's really awesome to have the mindset to realize, how to separate your energy from other people's and just pull yourself back to center. And I'm just really grateful that I was taught it. Just because being a child who was a people pleaser, and just knowing how to be there for people properly without overextending myself was really, really wonderful to have.
Yes, yes, yes. Another one, it's we don't know how to say no. Nope.
Nope.
And let me tell you, no is a complete sentence.
Period.
Period.
Still
No.
working on one.
I'm still working on it with my son, but we are work in progress. Because saying yes to everything robs you your energy because you're not being your authentic self. You're not being you, and you're just taking. And guess what? You're going to be super overwhelmed. You're going to be super frustrated. And including you're going to start feeling shame, you're going to start feeling resentment why I said yes when I meant to say no, and
Mhm.
a lot of things can bubble up with just so simple no.
Yes. Yep. Yeah, that was a hard one for me, and I'm still learning that one because I'm still learning like how big my energy reservoir is for me personally, and like when I need to refill that. Oh, sorry. My baby has some thoughts. I don't know if you can hear him. um, he distracted me from my thought.
Take a nice deep breath in and out. And you're still working on your no.
My thought totally got deleted. um,
No worries.
that's okay. We'll move on.
Another one is we don't have a strong boundaries, and we have to work on our boundaries.
When I first started, I was like, what are boundaries? What are those? Especially when you grow up as a kid with, I feel like a lot of my generation grew up with parents who had their boundaries crossed and they were people pleasers. So it was taught to us. And so, you just, I lost my thought again. I'm sorry.
You're good. So the for me, it's learning about having physical but also spiritual boundaries because we also got not taught about having spiritual boundaries um, and creating protection around your shields. And we're going to talk about some tools and techniques in a little bit. But we have talked about we do not know how to say no, and no is a complete sentence. We talk about the setting boundaries and keeping our boundaries because sometimes we set our boundaries, but we don't set them strong enough. And today, I was talking to a friend of mine that sometimes we need to upgrade our boundaries and reinforce them, our boundaries. So here's a few things that we have, and we need to incorporate in our days. But I would like to talk about the positive things that we have, right?
Mm-hmm.
So typically, if you are a high sensitive and an empath, you most likely a healer. And holding space for yourself and holding space for other is so magical, so magical. It is my passion. It brings me so much joy. It brings me so much happiness that I can hold space for myself and I can hold space for others.
Yeah, it's really a beautiful thing to be able to hold space. It brings a lot of healing to you to hold space for yourself. And then being able to now properly, instead of people please and absorb, hold space for the person, give them the honor of whatever they need without absorbing and taking.
Another gift that we have, we are amazing listeners. And sometimes we need to learn how to be an active listener, but that's a different story.
For sure. There's definitely a difference.
There is a look different, yes, for sure. Because sometimes we are listening to react. Sometimes we are listening to give our opinion or give our experience. And sometimes what is required is an active listening, which is listening so you can hold space for someone else. Listening so they can feel, see that they're being heard and not that they're here for you to start fixing them.
Yes, yes. Yeah, I agree.
Any other gift that you think?
Um, I would just say it allows you to walk through the world with a very special perspective. And when you stop absorbing negativity and start allowing light to radiate, it just creates a better experience for you being an empath when you're out in the world and you're dealing with difficult energies, difficult people, difficult experiences. You know, you can come home and you can lean on your tools and you can be like, I've had a really frustrating day, but I'm gonna, bring it back. I really think that that's just a powerful perspective to have instead of, people have the perspective that everybody's so negative, blah, 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 but it's just like, you don't have to absorb that and take it with you and keep it continuing.
I agree. I agree. So for me, and this is a really personal opinion of being a empath, is that I'm a physical empath. So I can physically feel the emotions, the energy when I'm connected with people. So as a healer, this empowered me because then I can know where I need to focus the energy, right? So if I'm feeling anger, where is that anger located? And then I can focus on there. If I can feel grief, where is the grief located? And then I can focus on there. So for me, it's an amazing, amazing gift because I can direct the energy and the focus where exactly I'm feeling it from the other person.
I love that you mentioned that because I've been trying to pay more attention body wise what I feel like. I try to pinpoint where in my body I'm feeling the emotion, and that's been really helpful too. I just wanted to add that because I love that you brought that up. I think it's really because you feel it in all different aspects.
Yes, indeed. So that's kind of a few gifts about being an empath. Now, tools and techniques. And I've been preaching this to everyone I talk. I've been preaching this to the top of my lungs. I go to the top of the mountains. You got it. Ground. Ground, it means connect to Gaia, connect to Mother Earth. Clear your energy, yours and not yours. And when that energy cannot be transmuted, send back to sender with love. But you got to protect yourself. You got to protect yourself from those negative energy in the environment, negative energy from others, negative energy are always surrounding us, and people are projecting energy, people are bringing drama. How can you disconnect yourself from the drama? How can you disconnect yourself from the negativity coming in?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Yep. It's a very powerful tool to have when everybody is pushing it outward, and it really just needs to be dissolved. It
So,
reaches up, just goes poof.
so being an empath, it is a really, truly magical thing to have. It can feel a curse. It can feel something super overwhelmed when you don't have the proper tools, when you don't have the proper knowledge. And being an empower empath drive you to have a happier and a healthier life?
It really, really does. And then it ripples out in that life because then you set standards and boundaries for yourself. And then, either people meet you there or they go on their path.
Correct. Anything else before we go?
Um, yeah, I would just say to keep, for me, practicing what grounds me, what helps me relift my vibration when it is tanked, when it is down, when I am feeling low, how to continue getting curious and continue learning, different ways, different methods, because we're all different. We all resonate differently with different techniques. And I would just say keep exploring and keep grounded. Keep grounded, protected, keep exploring, and just build your perfect little ritual for just taking care of that energy.
Well, if you want to learn more about grounding, clearing, and protecting, in my YouTube, I have videos that you can go and explore how you can ground, how can you clear, and how you can protect yourself and protect others.
And they're awesome. They are great.
Well, Amber, thank you for coming,
Of
and
course.
it's been an honor to have you here. Thank you for the listeners to listen for today's topics, and I'm going to be scheduling a new mystical moment, and I will have a friend of mine, and we're going to talk about altars. So I'm
Ooh.
looking forward to that. So be in the lookout for the next mystical moments with Carol. Bye bye now.
Bye.